In this session, as we provide a definition for the concept of love, we will focus on freedom, motive, and wisdom. We must be careful to aim for an accurate definition of love, or we will have great and destructive confusion in both the Christian community and our society in general, which is characteristic of this age. For the materialist, there's no telling where they come up with their definition for love, and there is no real basis for even believing in the existence of such a thing, other than it being a feeling triggered by a chemical reaction, which is a very poor way of understanding human life in any area. For the Christian, our definition ought to be based first in what God has revealed about himself, and second, his commands, instruction, and teaching regarding the issue of love. Therefore, we must make an effort to have a good biblical working definition of love, both as it applies to God and to human beings. Love involves a choice to be committed to do that which produces the highest good. Love is a commitment that produces actions that seek to fulfill the commitment. The commitment is to the best interest or well-being of, first, God, then other human beings, and then all of creation. In order to consistently produce the right actions, one must first have the right abiding purpose of heart, and second, practice wisdom, choosing the best means for arriving at the best end or outcome. Love not only requires right purpose and wisdom, but it requires freedom. Therefore, having the ability to love is risky, because freedom can be used foolishly. For example, you might be able to program a robot to carry out a task for you, but it cannot do it as an expression of love, because it is not free to regulate its motive or choose between obedience and disobedience. Consider, Jesus said, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." However, even obedience and disobedience are not comprehensive factors to determine if one is acting out of love. A person can choose to be obedient begrudgingly. If so, the act of obedience, doing what is requested or demanded of him or her, is not born of love, due to the fact that the motive behind the act negates it as such. As I've previously stated, and according to 1 John 4:8 and 16, the essential or central moral attribute of God is love. This does not mean that God abides in a particular emotional state. God is committed to advancing the highest good as he processes all of the complexities of the affairs of planet Earth. In the ultimate sense of things, there are only two directions that a moral being can choose as a supreme rule of life. One is to purpose and promote the highest good, while the other is to concentrate on the promotion of self-interest. It is possible that the highest good will be consistent with one's self-interest, but it is necessary to be clear that the goal is the highest good, not self-interest, which, at best, is consequential. One who pursues the highest good might find it involves inconvenience and personal suffering, and it is not consistent with one's immediate self-interest. The question then arises, will such a pursuit continue when this is the case? Will we deny self and embrace the challenges for the sake of the higher good? The greatest example of pursuing the highest good, otherwise known as love, in the face of suffering is the incarnation and the crucifixion of Jesus. We read in 2 Corinthians 8:9, "Though he was rich, yet for your sake he became poor, so that you through his poverty might become rich." Or John chapter 15, verse 13, "Greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for his friends." Or again in Romans 5:8, "God demonstrates his love toward us in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us." Consequently, this becomes our example as we are told, "Be imitators of God as beloved children and walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave himself up for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God as a fragrant aroma." The disruption that occurred in the heavenly relationship of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and the consequent suffering of incarnation, rejection, abuse, and the sacrificial death of Jesus as a manifestation of love, does not fit in the category of a warm, fuzzy feeling. This example of love is the one Paul sets forth for us to imitate. We can say that though love might produce pleasant and even proper feelings, it does not necessitate, nor does it require such. Love does, however, require right motive and actions that follow. Our choices need to be based on proper and well-rounded information. The more limited the information we have, the greater the chance that we do not make the best choice where action is concerned, though the motive remains pure. This is why those who are governed by love seek to increase knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Unfortunately, it is often the case that such important statements as, "This I command you, that you love one another," is associated with a feeling-based view of love and is often limited to being nice, tolerant, accepting, and affirming. There's nothing wrong with these things expressed in the proper way at the proper time in the proper place. However, expressed in the improper way, at the improper time, in the improper place, it is the very antithesis of love. This is why, along with right motive, wisdom is needed to produce acts of love.